Yeah, I don't know what it is, bro, but I look at Grok very like skeptically. Like, I don't mean to just launch into, hey, this is about Grok, but this is about Grok because I'm just like perturbed by Grok. I'm just like, Elon could have just stayed on the Gemini project and he'd be rocking right now and he'd be raking in millions with iPhone. And that bullshit that they're on with their like proprietary need to like claim the AI now and have it as have the name in their like title. So it's going to use Gemini AI, which is fundamentally founded by the people who founded Google. It's yet another monopoly owned by Elon, but guess what? It's for iPhone, which is an elitist piece of crap that uses technology that's already been perfected by other companies and has been in use for years before calling it our own openly and lying for the record just to make something look new when South Korea did it already way long time ago, like they do with everything, including music. Oh my gosh, let's just go steal some more. Anyways, back to the fucking message at hand, which is fundamentally like a good one, I feel like. I was out in town today just being myself with a friend, having coffee, as it were. Actually having matcha, like brown sugar boba with brown sugar boba something or other, boba tea with matcha, which is what I like. So I was having that, which is a concoction that I made up technically, but they were willing to do it with me. And so when I show up, they kind of just know now that's what I like, I guess, which is what's, a benefit of living in a small town and being able to just enjoy that fact. It's so amazing. Like, I love this town. I really genuinely do. When I say that, people like laugh at me. They're just like, why? Like, why? Especially if they're from here because it's so small and everybody knows your business. And I'm just like, because I'm like that, I'm an open book. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm fine with that. They can know my business. That's even better. Let them know. Because I'm just like, let them know. I don't really care, like, when it comes to all that. Like, I've never hidden who I am from anyone. I don't sit here and, like, proclaim it from the rooftops, but I'm not a hiding bitch either. I'm just like, this is who I am. And this is who I am inside as a person. We don't match. Okay, yes, I understand that if I tell you just this one thing about who I'm related to, you're gonna approach me totally differently, so I don't. And it's not necessary for me anyway, because I wasn't raised like that. And whatever that is, I just wasn't. I was the opposite. Like, people neglected the you know what out of me, so I would raise myself and come to an inner awareness of like perceptional abilities that most people don't possess. So I was like the opposite of raised. I was kind of neglected to the point of like just raising myself. That's just how I feel. I was raised by wolves, just like some of my ancestors, raised by the Lupercalia, so to speak. So I was just like my ancestor is Lord Greystoke too, so it's so funny when I tell this story that I was just feral. I was just left to raise myself pretty much, just like one of those kids. And then I'm like, I don't have all day to talk on here and just tell people about my life. It's not even relevant at this point, except to say that I was in town today and this is why I feel this way, or why it applies to me, and why it's like these type of things, and it's all very philosophical, and it might lead to a merry little chase into my mind, my thought process, which some people find admirable and others find just too much to like either resist making fun of because they think I'm simple minded or I have some form of autism, or they think I'm brilliant and they just don't want to tell me that, and then they just like fundamentally ignore me just so they can like bring me down to like a human level to talk to me. Just like, I don't know how to describe it other than that. Like, I'm like scary when it comes to certain things that I'm interested in, and most people don't know how to respond because they don't have that much interest in anything, let alone like that particular thing that is just my thing, which mostly everything is. That's the thing about me too. there's not much that you can talk about that I don't have like knowledge of or experience in and real like knowledge and experience, like, and I love to talk about it. So if you get me started, you have to really know what you're talking about, or else you might as well just not even bring up the subject because it's just going to get you embarrassed. And I'm not trying to embarrass you, I'm just enthusiastic. So when I meet people in the town that are that level of intellect and like to talk about ideas and things that are ever evolving but restore the integrity of the town and keep it intact as it is, I love those people. Just genuinely, I love them right away. And they're usually old. And that's fine with me because I'm old fashioned and I love old stuff. And when I went to the dang thing to go get a post office, it's a post office, not the thing. If you know what my thing is, you know a lot about me, because I will just be like, the thing. I don't really want to go into detail. Like, I'm that brain lazy sometimes because I think so much and so pointedly when I choose to direct my energy to a topic. So, I get a one-track mind, essentially, where I'm just like, yeah, I want to discuss all these brilliant things, all day long. Like, I'm just breathless with the anticipation of, like, a high-level conversation when I meet people who actually form coherent thoughts, which is crazy to me. Like, that should be like the lowest level of, like, entry to human existence, that you have a basic level of, like, decorum and mannerisms and respect, and generally ideas that focus on producing outcomes that are beneficial for all mankind and womankind too, everybody together, but like nicely and not rude, and intelligently, and like everybody feels like a village, everybody looks out for the next one and is willing to like check on you if need be, you know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. Just that feeling of that insular like village. And that's essentially like a message that's far reaching. I think that's been repeated over time. It's not necessarily my mission or anything like that. There are like many paths that lead to that same outcome, of like the village of togetherness type of thing. And I've lived like so separately from the world intentionally for my own purposes, which are not selfish. They're just a lot of the time it's because, like I've said before, my spirits are really restless. A lot of times if there's anything being done to me, or I'm in a bad situation or something like that, I have people that look out for me and people that protect me, that would make me like overpowered if I were to be allowed to use those advantages to my advantage. So I usually don't. I'm usually like, you know what? I don't need to call in the cavalry because I'm in a situation. And I usually go way too long when that happens, because it's by that time that it happens, it's always somebody doing something that's so blatantly like not just disrespectful to me, but against the law, that people are just like, I cannot believe that this person, feels like I need to get a gun because being your friend comes with like danger, like real danger. It's freaking me out. Like, I'm like, yeah, that's what new people say. If you don't know me, you're just like, what is up with all the like cloak and dagger and people really doing the shit that you say they're doing and getting away with it? And I'm just like, it's the damnedest thing. They will just do it openly, like on camera, and be surveilled doing it while in uniform and like chewing bubblegum at the same, like just do it. They're just doing it. They're just out here living that life. Like exactly what I said like 3 years ago. I'm always ahead. And I'm always making plans for what happens because I'm so far ahead that by the time I'm like, yeah, this is what's going to happen, like, it takes a while for it to catch up. And sometimes people have already been making preparations for that, whether they know it or not, because the energy's already out there, because I already read it. I already know what's going on. Like, I read the energy, but still, this means that it exists somewhere, that somebody's been documenting it. It's actually out there, because the only way that you receive energy is from that energy being created. You can't create energy out of nowhere that doesn't exist. As a universal like spiritualist, that would be against the rules of universal law anyway. It would go against do no harm. You would be causing harm to people intentionally by like just starting a problem that doesn't exist. So I don't speak on a thing unless I know that there are several lines to that topic, and that this is what's going on, and these are what people are actually saying about it out there, like I'm hearing in the community that people are like, I've actually been like gathering this information, and people give me information about the past and the future all the time. I sit here and talk to people. That's my gift. I love to talk to people about what they've been through and what their life was like. I just talked to a guy today about Cane River and about the history of this river and like what needs to be done to clean it up and all of that. And he was like, "You must be a biologist or something." I was like, "No, I just like I've discussed things with the EPA and I find this all very interesting." And the fish that they've taken out of there, the samples, it was one of the first things that I learned when I got here was about the river, which is not technically a river. It's a lake or a stagnant like waterway. It's a long waterway, but it was built as like a sluice system to slew all the trash and all the debris off of the riverbank down out into the greater river, the Red River and all of that, so it wouldn't become jammed up here. But instead they blocked it off, and people can't get it in and out to the Red River anymore. You can't, like, it doesn't sluice out properly. A lot of the fish were coming up like looking like the fish in Sibley Lake, like they had been chemically altered some way. And so just like stuff like that, like it was changing the biodiversity of the fish. And so they were like introducing the fish that used to live in the river to the river again, but then it just becomes like a stocked pond. And if people are taking too many fish and they're not obeying the rules, then the biodiversity suffers, and certain ones are getting like the brunt of the sickness and they can't fight it off because there's not enough spread out to like absorb all of that impact on the community of fish. Like it gets complicated. And so I'm just like, but these are the things that I find interesting and I find to be like problematic, because those fish should be populating on their own. That should be the thing that's why the river was created. And in fact, there's a system here as a French grid that if it's flowing properly, it will cycle through the whole town, through the spillway, through everything, and it'll all just run off all of that sludge. So you're not dealing with like stuff from the shorebirds and stuff like that, like accumulating and causing their eggs to be fragile, like the chemical buildup and stuff like that, causing like like bald eagles, even they come and fish out of that river occasionally, and other seabirds. So like those birds being affected and their young having like thin shells and not surviving their hatching, or even necessarily their birth, because they just crumble. They're just like very, very thin. Those things are all problematic and they have to be like addressed, or else EPA starts coming in with like teams to figure out how we're going to remedy this. And I was like, just like a little dam of some kind that was like, that could like lift like a bridge even, that's like has a gate on it and it lifts up with like a robotic system, like a big like easy one that somebody could press a button when they're right there, even with like a pole, and it would just open up on a robotic system. Like that would be like, it wouldn't be that expensive. You could get a grant to do it. It would open that back up again, but with a gate, so nothing like could come through unless it was like allowed to, and you could decide how to do that, whether you want to put a toll on it or what. But it would be one way to open up that waterway too, and create another spillway that would sludge off all of that stuff and introduce like fry into the river system that could come through that gate. If it's just like a grid and they could just come right through there and they could just populate in this this low water that's warm, they would be attracted to that anyway, which is what nature's designed to do, is figure out how to make it work. And that would be great, and it would be simple and low cost, like literally. they probably wouldn't pay anything to do it. But they got more important projects that are structurally unsound and like already voted down, but still they want to do it anyway because it's worth more money. I'm like, just do the damn little one more bridge across Cane River right there at the end with a gate on it. That's simple. It's not that hard, and structural engineering will pass that easily because they would want that would open up the gateway to those community on the other side. That's on that riverbank, but goes all the way down to because nobody ever knows what's out there. I've been here since 2009 and I never go down that road. That would open up all of that too and open up some of the traffic off of the riverbank. That's a good investment. And maybe one more spillway, actually, too. One more spillway, maybe right there, like right down there where South Drive crosses over the Cane. Maybe right there by the fish hatchery. That you could release the fish, the fry right there too, if you're still going to do the fish hatchery and all of that right there on Fairgrounds Road. And that would also give that, like I would take that bridge out and make it a raisable bridge and have traffic points where they maybe even have to pay a toll. That would be okay too, especially if you're doing parades and stuff. That's high traffic areas. That would serve all the public without having to impose all the taxes or all the like fares and tariffs on the natives who live here. I don't know, just a thought or two or seven. Yep, that's all. That's what happens when inspiring minds come around you. You start becoming inspired to think about what could benefit the town more than malfeasance and things like that.